Up to date, I never built to the same basis, even repeating the shape. Like I try to constantly develop something new.
I'm very pleased to have Marek Dąbek as this week's guest on Life with Strings Attached. Marek Dąbek is a luthier, photographer, and designer of Stradi, a boutique guitar and bass company located in the heart of Poland. With a history of innovative electric violin and upright basses, Marek's work evolved towards modern electric bass guitars in 2002, where his history of viols remains evident in his aesthetic approach to his beautiful bass guitars. We covered a wide range of topics in our discussion, which I enjoyed thoroughly. I hope that you enjoyed as much as I did. Marek, great to see you.
Jamie.
Welcome to Life with Strings Attached.
Great to see you, man.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for inviting me for the show. That's really, really very kind. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, you're welcome, but it's because you're doing great things. It wasn't anything about kindness.
Oh.
It was.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
So, how?
That's still kindness. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, how are Aga and the kids? All's well there in Poland?
Yeah, very good. We got great trip after Guitar Summit, and we're back home, and we're very, very happy to be there. Now it's time to get back to the normal life.
Back to normal life, yeah.
Working all the time and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, come on! It's your obsession, isn't it? You'd be working all the time on this because you want to. Yeah. Yes, it is. I have to admit, man, I was struggling with myself for the last few days to not come back to the workshop after 16 o'clock, after 4 p.m. That's my limit time I had to set for myself. But we're doing such a great projects now that I just wanted to come back to the workshop and work even more, because I'm really excited about this project. Yeah. That's a tough balance, because I mean, you want to work when you're inspired, because that's when you're doing your best work. But if you get too exhausted, then you're not doing your best work anymore.
Of course. Finding this balance is my struggle all the time. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's anybody's struggle who is working within their passion.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. As much as I know, talking to other people that's doing the same work. Bruno, come on, Bruno is working all the time, like nights, days. Come on, man.
Yeah,
we have to find some balance.
Bruno Bacci is who you're talking about, and
yes, Bruno
for our
Bacci,
listeners who don't know, and I was Bruno's the closest luthier to where I am right now, and I was out with one of our common friends on the weekend, and she said, Bruno, like, he's just always thinking about guitars. Like, it doesn't. You have dinner, you have drinks together, and within 60 seconds, he's talking about guitars.
yes, exactly.
It's just the way it is.
Exactly. Absolutely. I love this guy. Bruno, if you're watching this, sending hugs for me from Maga. We love you guys, dude.
That's great. For our listeners, Mark and Aga and the family have visited us here in our European studio, along with a number of other guitar makers in our first week here. Michael Sankey and Bruno and Brian Gallup and Joe Glazer, all sorts of people came through here. Everyone wants to have a friend in Tuscany, it seems. And so I've never had so many guitar makers visit me at home in Canada, but here it comes through. And so
absolutely, absolutely,
it's a good place to be. And so but I'm keen to return to Poland as well. I really love Poland. I was in Poland the first time. I think this.
Awesome.
I don't know, around maybe 2000. Well, probably around 2000, actually. 2000, 2001.
Yeah, yeah,
in the early
around.
2000s. And I was there playing with a band, and I've toured all over Poland, and I fell in love with Poland back then. But
awesome.
And I've played, I think, every sector of Poland, because I was there for 2 weeks playing every day. So I really was all over the place. And
awesome.
I fell in love with them, but it was a very different country than it is today. You know, Poland has prospered so much in the last 25 years. It's I've been there a couple of times in the last 2 years, I think, and I visited with you in your home, your workshop there also. And I was in the south, and I was in the north, and man, it's different. But it's so good to see the prosperity that's happened in Poland.
Absolutely. Yeah, everything is changing very, very much.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 41. Come on, it's not a huge part of time to tell about changes, but come on, I still remember the communism. I still remember the cards you had to have to buy a piece of meat in a grocery. I still remember that time, and now. Come on, it's unbelievable change for us. It's like absolutely developing of the country, roads, digitalization of everything. It's very, very fast. It's going very, very, very fast.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, you mentioned the roads. And as you know, I drive all over Europe, and I was driving on the highways in Poland, and they're new, and they're beautiful, and the pavement is perfect, you know, and so there's no potholes yet, and the road isn't cracked, and so it's really nice to drive on these fresh highways in Poland, you know.
I'm wondering if you drove some local roads as well.
I did. They're different.
Not they're different. but still, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
We thought a lot about moving elsewhere in the world. Come on, world is huge. World is beautiful. After all, we decided to stay here. Living here is getting better. We're happy here. We find a good place to live with forests and good roads to drive a motorcycle. And come on, it's really perfect place to live.
I think that we will look back on this time for Poland, and you will see it as a golden age. It'll be like American 1950s. You know, the what you're living in right now in Poland. It's really wonderful. You know, the question is, does it? Do you still maintain the sense of the Polish culture?
Yes, of course. There's a lot of effort being made locally to maintain the local culture. You know, where you go around the Poland, you will find out that any part of it has a bit different culture. The guys from mountains are much different. They got even their own language and stuff. We are Poles. We are in Poland, but there's a lot of programs, like government programs as well, to maintain the cultural heritage of Poland. Of specific places in Poland, like I said, Kashuby is, for example, on the north of Poland, at the seaside.
Yes.
It's all maintained, it's all sustained, and I love it. We don't change like we want to be equalized with others, like I don't know, the globalization stuff and everything. It's here. Of course, man. You can find McDonald's everywhere and everything.
Yeah, but your McDonald's is better. Your McDonald's is really a lot better. I mean, have you gone to a McDonald's outside of Poland?
You
must have been horribly disappointed.
My kids,
because it's so much better in Poland.
I got kids.
It's so much better in Poland. This is going to sound ridiculous to the people who are listening.
Except Italy.
The McDonald's in Poland is the best in the world. That we've tried. So this is ridiculous. So a little bit embarrassing, but I love it anyways. I love good food. I love fine food. And my son, Zach, who travels with us, and a videographer that used to travel with us, when we first started going on tour in Europe, they had this thing where they wanted to try McDonald's hamburger in every country they went to see if the franchise kept the standard everywhere we went. And indeed, it does not actually. It changes from country to country a little bit. And so we were in Poland last year on tour. We didn't have a tour stop in Poland, but we took the ferry from Sweden into Gdansk, or just north of Gdansk. I forget the name of the town.
Gdansk,
And then we drove through to our German stop, and we visited with some our friends up at Mayonnaise up in Gdansk, and so Zach had a McDonald's Polish hamburger, and we were like, oh my God, this is why McDonald's got famous. Like, this is the real deal. Like, this, you taste this and you're like, this is fantastic. And I don't think that McDonald's hamburgers are fantastic normally, to be honest. I don't want to eat that stuff.
Normally, of course.
But the Polish one is so damn good. You're like, this is why they're famous. This is why it is. So if anyone's traveling, I can't believe I'm about to recommend this, but in Poland, you got to try the McDonald's because it's so good.
Of course. Yeah. You mentioned about Zach and kids.
Yeah.
Come on, this is because our kids, they need to go there. Just for, I don't know the reason, but they just need to go to McDonald's as well.
It's everywhere. An icon.
Like, come on, let's go to the restaurant. Yeah, let's go to the restaurant. Kids, which one? Kids say McDonald's. Come on.
All right. So 25 years ago, when I was touring with bands in Europe, we always had translators with us. We needed to have translators, local assistants with us.
Of course.
And because I've played a lot of Eastern Europe. I've played through Estonia, and I've played through in Kiev, and I've played all over Poland. And our translators, they'd take us to different local restaurants, which we loved. And inevitably, at some point in time, the translators would say, on Friday, we're going to our favorite restaurant, and we're really looking forward to it. And then they'd take us to McDonald's or TGI Fridays in Kiev. And it would cost so much more than the local food. And it was so much worse than the local food. Always. It's like, we paid $3 for amazing food across the street 2 days ago. Why are we spending $30 each at TGI Fridays today? This is let's go back and eat the Ukrainian food or the Polish food. It was always so much better. But there's the icon. They want to go. They want to be a part of it. That's amazing, actually.
Yes, exactly. Because come on, in Eastern Europe, in Central Europe, that was in the Soviet Union, actually, and communism, behind the Iron Border. We just seen cool stuff in television, but we didn't have anything of it. Like, so in the heads of many people still, it goes like, we finally have it. We should be proud of it for some reason or something like that. Let's go over there because it's high quality. It's not high quality actually, but come on, man. But it stayed. I got the same stuff with guitars actually here in Poland with Polish customers. I barely have a Polish customers for my bass guitars and guitars. Like barely, like maybe 5% or even less. It sells in Poland, just because the same stuff. Like in Poland, maybe someone will not agree with me, but it's still like that. That good stuff. It's American stuff, like guitars. Like you have Gibson or Fender. You're the guy. You're the man. You rule on the stage. Yeah, you know. Having Polish one, yeah, it's probably something rubbish because of those times that were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where there were no guitars, no good guitars. Absolutely. For listeners that don't know what's going on in communism, it was like, yeah, there were guitar factories, but they meant to build a lot of. Only quantity matter, not quality. Quality was not important at all. They meant to build a lot because numbers were only things that were important. That's it. That's all the story. That's why people in Poland still think that the Polish stuff is just because they have those times in mind. Of course, it's changed a lot. Our company, Mayonnaise, a lot of good stuff is produced in Poland that's famous worldwide. It's great quality. I'm happy that you told about standards in McDonald's because, come on, we here in Poland, we really care about standards. We do. We put a lot of effort to maintain the standards. If something meant to be made good, we focus on it. Seriously. A lot of people told me that they were...
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. A lot of people told me that Polish people that went for the emigration, like to UK, States and everywhere, are treated as a very good workers because they really do care about their work. They really do, and that's confirmation of what I'm talking about, maintaining the good standards of work of quality.
Yeah. I have a my barber, the person who does my hair back in Canada. I've been going to him for 26 years, and he's Polish, and his wife, and man, he works all the time, and when he's not cutting hair, he's working in his garden. And when he's not working in his garden, he's helping his friend do renovations at their home. And when they're not doing that, they're running a marathon. And him and his wife are super competitive on the marathon part. Where she, they run together in the evenings for rehearsal, and he did some training without her, and she looks at his phone to see what his numbers are to make sure that he's not running faster without her.
Make sure. Yeah,
it's super competitive. I believe. And she works really hard also. And the best interior car design company, the best custom car design automobiles that I've seen is actually in the south of Poland. It's called Carlex Designs, and they're incredible. And I have friends who are very serious in the automotive industry, like Bill Goldstein at Walker-Ray's Vintage. As a matter of fact, I contacted Bill yesterday, and he said, "Sorry, I was on the racetrack." And I was like, he's really obsessive about cars. And I asked him for these high-end interior companies for a project I was doing. And then I sent him the Carlex design. He was like, "Holy shit! No, I've never seen anybody who does work like this."
Whoa.
And that's happening in the south of Poland. It's really, really incredible stuff. And so, I'm as I said, I don't have enough good things to say about Poland. I want to return to Poland. I like to spend time there for sure. And there's something about room for improvement which makes us better. So, you remember using a card to buy the meat. There was clearly a vision of how life could be better. And I think that you're living in this time where people are taking action and they're making it better, right? And
of course,
actually in many other countries that have been, wealthy for a long time, we're kind of suffering from our youth not being motivated, and I think it's because they don't see room for improvement in the same way. As a matter of fact, they're just critical about what is so good. they're trying to tear down what's already good about it. It's really interesting because because it's really hard to improve already. But you're living in this really amazing space where you have a good life, a good culture, but everyone still sees that they're going to make it the way that they want to make it. And I think that's really a wonderful, wonderful space to be in. And I think that's why I love being in Poland so much. Is that I'm a futurist, who loves to see. I love where we've been, but I'm really excited about where we're going. What else can we do? What else can we experience? What else can we? And Poland is full of that right now.
Course.
And yet it's still so tied to the history, because you go to somewhere like Krakow, and it's a beautiful city and interesting, and you can still go to a restaurant and have somebody dressed up in the traditional outfit and hear them playing the traditional Polish music with the violin and the bass and the viola and dancing. And you really get a sense of this history of Poland, while at the same time,
of course,
getting all the modern advancements. And so it's Anyways, this is
historically we got really tough times. So it's good to remember those times, because we can have all the things that we can pull out of the history for this time. I don't know. I try to teach my daughters about history, even really hard history, just because to make sure they will know what can happen, what people are able to do to other peoples, for example. I try to teach them about it. I know school will teach them, but come on, school is something
you can't leave it all to school. You still have responsibilities in your home.
Absolutely, absolutely, of course. So they are interested in for my older daughter. She's 12, and she's interested in books about Auschwitz, for example. Come on, it's like. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of her. Like she's not leaving the history behind her. She wants to learn it. She wants to know what happened. She wants to put her points out to know how it happened. What can go wrong with people, with history, with countries. I put a lot of care to teach them.
Have you visited?
And about kids, not yet. I think she's still too young to take it peacefully. Like it's really strong feelings.
Have you been there before?
Like no, not yet.
All right.
We're moving the time. We're moving the time to visit this because we want to take our kids over there and live those feelings, live this time with them, to experience it with them. We read a lot of books about Auschwitz. We've seen a lot of movies about it. We want to feel it with them, actually.
I have pictures of Auschwitz in my living room in my home in Canada, which seems like a very strange thing to a lot of people. But I was there on my birthday in May of 2004, 5, somewhere around there. I was on tour with the band, and we had a day off, and I guess we played Krakow the day before or the day after, because it's just outside of Krakow, and we went there, and it was a very surreal experience because actually it was a very beautiful day in the springtime. Polish springtime is wonderful, blue skies, lots of green. And
my favorite.
But when movies are made, you only see these camps in the rain and mud, and they make it as dramatic and miserable as possible. And it just had never occurred to me that there were beautiful weather in this place ever. I have they're detail shots. I have detail shots of the railroad tracks, of barbed wire, of things that you don't know right away. But I also was in the early days of the digital camera, and I had a small Canon 2-megapixel camera with me, and I actually I think I took something like 700 or 800 photographs there, and it was a lesson because the people I was with were actually very strongly affected, and I was not as strongly affected, not because I was cold or indifferent, but because I didn't experience it, I documented it.
I get it.
That was a lesson, you know, and like you're saying, you want to experience it with your children. I mean, we didn't really have camera phones back then, so I don't know what it's like today. If everyone is there with camera phones, or if people aren't using them, what it is. But it's something. Later on, I sent my kids to a Waldorf school where actually they tell you not to use cameras during the kids' presentations and such, to actually live it and don't try and document it. I wish I had known that before I went there, but nonetheless, it's there is a tie to it.
We're learning.
Because my wife's grandfather was Polish, and he's the only one of his family that survived the war, and he was in camps, and a few of them, and through miraculous experiences made it out a number of times, and it's a fascinating experience. And so I'm glad to hear you talking about it and sharing it with your children. They learn about it in school. The whole point, when you enter Auschwitz, they have a sign. It's actually run by a Jewish society that says, we have preserved this place so that we can remember it, so we don't repeat the mistakes that we had before. And that is exactly the point of history, why we teach our children our history, so we don't make the same damn mistake over and over again.
Exactly. Absolutely. And they are too young to show them how it transfers for today. I don't know. We got dramatic political situations and stuff. We don't tell them about it because they still probably won't get it. But soon they will probably start to understand what's going on from time to time, and will connect those dots, hopefully.
Yes.
That's my hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on from this topic, I think that, as we talked about earlier on, where you're coming from a place where people can see that they can make a difference, they can improve upon their scenario, right? Because there's so much change. And I'll repeat just for our listeners, when I was there 20 or 25 years ago, if there was a Toyota Corolla on the road, that Corolla meant that person was very successful. They might be the mayor, a politician, they could be a big business person. To us, that's the affordable family car in North America. A Corolla is the second car. And so, but now when you go to Poland, there's Maybachs and there's Lamborghinis going down the road. There's BMWs, Mercedes, Volvos everywhere. It's such a difference. So there's this huge sort of idea that you can claim a better future for yourself within Poland. That's really interesting. And that in countries that have been developed longer, we're losing this sense. And we have this real, I'm going to get in shit for saying this stuff, but I'm going to say it anyways. We have this real rise in things like veganism and such with our youth, who are very concerned about the feelings of the animals and other species, which is lovely that they're concerned about these things. But I think there's a danger at not recognizing that we are predators and that we are killers. And that's not a bad thing. So do you expect the wolf to stop eating deer? The deer, they had this problem. There's a documentary about Yellowstone Park where the wolves had been hunted out of Yellowstone. But Yellowstone was drying up. The rivers were drying up, was falling apart. And the way they brought back Yellowstone is they reintroduced wolves. And you think, why did the wolves make the difference for the water?
Why wolf?
Because the deer actually eat the young trees, and they eat the soft grass and such, and they eat the young trees around the riverside edge.
I get it.
And so the young trees grow up and grow up and grow up, and they choke out the rivers. or sorry, they don't choke out. They don't maintain the lines and such. And so actually the vegetation gets out of control, gets eaten too much when there's too many deer. And so when the wolves came in and they took out more deer with the wolves naturally, then beavers returned to Yellowstone. The beavers had left because the water had changed. And so by bringing back the wolves, we actually had more beavers. And when you have the more beavers, you have the water life and more waterfowl and such. It's incredible. The system was out of balance, you know, and we have, because of cartoons and Disney and children's stories, we think, oh, the wolf, the lion, they're bad. The deer is cute, you know. But actually, we all have a place, and when we over emotionalize everything, and when we lose connection with the fact that we're dangerous, actually, I think that it's really bad for our culture. So that's why places like Auschwitz have to remain, and we have to teach them to sort of understand that those people weren't some other species. They were us. We made those choices. You might have been that prison guard working there.
Of course.
You know, it's not also easy. Most people think that they would be the hero saving people. The reality is 99.9% of us would have been the prison guards and sending people on trains. And it's really dangerous to lose touch of that, to make someone a demon and not human. It's much better to live with the reality that you could be that person and make sure you don't. Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop is your premier fretted instrument custom case maker, and we invite you to create a musical instrument case unlike any other, one that's unique to you. Every Cedar Creek custom case is hand-built by highly skilled craftspeople using only select woods, Providence Forge hardware, and premium instrument-friendly materials. At Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop, we are dedicated to helping you design the case of your dreams. Find out more at cedarcreekcases.com.
It was interesting what you told before about growing up with in a high prosperity environment. Like the countries, I can see from my children that they have everything that they want. Like, come on, they want to go for karate. Yeah, sure, no problem. They want to ride a mini quad or something. A horse. Yeah, sure, no problem. And I can see that they will not do, as a society, they will not go as much forward as we did, like my generation, for example, because they really have that peaceful, prosperative environment to live without need to expand like we had, and it makes something in character of people that have to struggle with everything. I know from my perspective, I had to struggle with absolutely everything when I wanted to build a guitar or any other instrument. I told you the story. I was like 19 years old when I wanted to build an instrument. And here in Poland, there was anyone who could teach me, anyone who wanted to teach me. There was absolutely no schools when I could go and just learn how to build instruments, wherever, if it's government school or private school, wherever, nothing, no one. I even called luthiers, asking them, can you teach me how to build a violin? Because at this time I wanted to build a violin because I wanted to play violin. I wanted to learn how to play violin. And nobody accepted my requests. Like, no, I won't show you how to build a violin. That's it. Because the only persons they will show how to build a violin is their kids or grandkids. That's it. It's closed environment here.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely very, very pleased and happy that something like internet was growing those times. There were the times when you wanted to use internet, you had to go to the internet cafe, some place when there were computers. You could pay for an hour and sit on the computer just to scroll some internet and check some websites. You could, I don't know, download the website on the disk in the floppy disk, or print the website and take it to home to check some informations, how to build an electric violin, or what's going on with piezo pickups, for example. I had to go through all of it literally on my own, and I had to learn the hard way. Now I'm very happy about it because I didn't have any path that I could just walk, like ready paths. Go this path and you will have something. You will build this guitar that half of Word builds, actually. Now I'm very happy about it. I appreciate that. Of course, back there I was upset. I was just, why the hell no one want to teach me how to build a guitar? Today I'm very happy about it because I could go my own way. I could build my own style. I could use the materials that probably, like, I don't know, 2% of luthiers use today, like oak or something like that. I had to experiment. I had to do my own pickups. I had to do my own bridges. Everything. I had to go straight, very long, very hard path to be where I am today. And now I can say it was damn satisfying.
Yeah.
It is.
You talk about building instruments out of oak because that's what you had access to. I mean, the first time you carved a piece of mahogany, you must have been like, oh my God, this is so easy. Like after...
Absolutely. Absolutely. My first electric violin was made out of ash.
Okay.
It was so hard to work for a guy that doesn't have professional tools. Like, my only tools were electric drill and electric plane, like the one that you use for, I don't know, roof building. Like that. Something like that's it. That's it. So working with very hard piece of ash was dramatic. But I made it. Come on. And first time when I work with mahogany or black limba, for example, it was like, oh my goodness, how easy! How easy is that stuff to work with? It's like butter.
Yeah, for our listeners who for the listeners who don't make things with wood, it's not just the tonal reasons that mahogany became famous within musical instruments. It's just so damn easy to carve away and to sand and to work with. Compare something like an oak, like a native oak in Poland would be like trying to sand a rock next to mahogany. And so that's
exactly. It's like comparing doing carvings in stone and in butter.
Exactly.
or soap or wax.
Yes.
I even ruined my first project that I used a regular wood. I ruined it because when I started to work with it, my first moves were so strong and so hard that I went through. I did too much. I removed too much material per once, and it was ruined. I have to start over. I had a lesson. But now I'm happy. I'm happy because, come on, how many people use this stuff like oak, like I don't know, birch or something like that. And I do believe that come on, it's really minor. I know I'm 1% or even less, but I try to really use my local stuff to build some extraordinary pieces, like trying to prove customers, prove other builders that you really don't have to use rainforest stuff like woods, turbo exotic woods, to use to make something really extraordinary, really great sounding. Look around you, check what cool can you find. I don't know, a piece of stainless steel. I use it for a fingerboard of fretted instrument or fretless instrument. It's awesome. It gave a lot of satisfaction, and we came up with the idea that, come on, stainless steel as a fingerboard, it has to be very bright sounding. Nothing at all. It was very warm. It was, of course, the sound was live, and sustain was phenomenal, but the sound was no harsh, no too bright. I don't know, a piece of stone, piece of something, piece of horn of a deer that I found in the forest. Come on, look around you, find something cool and use it for building a cool guitar.
Yes.
That's what I like in my work today. Not going a path that it's really easy and path that's really walked by millions of people.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, and it defines your work, and it's one of the reasons that your instruments have stood out. You know, well, first of all, your instruments are a very clear connection between the old world and the new world. You know, your interest in violin is very obvious in your electric instruments, right? You know, this Cremonese sort of styling is there, right? The extended fingerboard, you know, is there. It references the violin, the violin family, you know, you know, but you know, you talk about finding horn or local woods and stuff, and sometimes this comes across as a bit rough or kitschy, but your instruments are very refined, and they don't look rough. You use them in a sophisticated way, and so you have good taste. You make beautiful instruments, and so you know some of these pieces are coming together in our conversation naturally. But how did you arrive exactly at making what we now know as the Stradi instrument?
Oh my goodness. You know, as I told you, I started very young. I started in high school. I started with weird stuff, as most people would say, with electric violins, electric upright basses. This was the field of my luthier when I started. It was I was doing it for, I don't know, 10 years exclusively, like no guitars at all, like only the violins, only the upright basses, cellos, violas. This was the time when I was developing piezo pickups for those instruments, because piezo pickups is something that that you have to use in those kind of instruments mostly. Maybe some magnetic pickups in upright basses would work. But still, piezo is my absolutely favorite up to date. I took all the ideas I came up with during this time when I would build electric violins, pickups, shapes. For example, the extended fingerboard you mentioned, it was my electric upright bass. Stick type, the minimalistic type, like today I would say something similar to NS design, like Ned Steinbaker electric upright basses. Even more minimalistic, without any kind of body, just a stick. So I dreamed about having moving the sound that I can achieve with electric upright bass into bass guitar form, for musicians that don't don't want to, don't have a time, don't want to struggle with learning a new instruments, which is electric upright bass, like different scale, different playing position. I really wanted to transfer the ideas to bass guitar. My first builds were, as I remember today, it was not such a beauty stuff. But finally, I came up with, come on, I love simplicity. I love really, some people would say obvious solutions. So when I wanted to build something that resembles upright bass, I just took a shape of violin style upright bass and apply it to the extended fingerboard. And it's modern bass guitar from the other side. If you look at my headstock design, you will find that this lower part of the body is just straightly moved to the headstock top, the end piece, and that's it. That's how my my flagship design happened. It was symphony bass. It was like 2014, 15, something like that. And up to date, even if my shape left almost untouched, it was just minor changes in the outline. Up to date, I never built to the same basis, even repeating the shape. Like I try to constantly develop something new connections of woods, like visually and sound-wise, of course. New materials, neck stiffeners made of carbon fiber tubes, different pickups. It's constant development, constantly. Like seriously, every single bass I'm trying to build, I try to treat it as something that moves forward. Details like profiling, taken from violin families, straight, like it's literally a violin profiling installed in the outline of a bass guitar. I try to inspire myself by not staying directly in the guitar building industry. Like, I have a lot of passions. I have a lot of things that drives me. I love motorcycles. I love cool designs of knives, for example. And when you look at something outside of the guitar world, finally you can have many inspirations. Like, take a look at the knife makers. They do incredible stuff with joining wood with metals, using I don't know, the pin that joins the handle with the blade, for example. It's mostly a lovely piece of mosaic. I use it for a fingerboard marker. These are tiny details that you can find everywhere that you can use to build a guitar. As well, as soon as your mind is opened for absolutely different things. Like I do use Pinterest for example to inspire myself. And you can find there many things, but barely guitars. Like Japanese art, Japanese pottery, knives, bikes, bowls, structures of people that makes furnitures, like artistic furnitures. You can find a lot of beautiful stuff there that inspires you. You can see a detail that or I don't know, it's on some drawer. like a line of brass going to the drawer, just as an accent, and you instantly have in mind some, oh my goodness, connection of this with the wood I recently saw. I have it on my shelf. Would be amazing and mesmerizing, or finishing the wood with fire, connecting it with metal. Absolutely brings you some kind of Japanese art stuff. Like, well, I have it on my mind, even when I don't know, seen it for 10 years ago. It stays in my mind, like connections of colors. You can have it with when you go outside and check the interior designs. You'll have perfect examples of colors. Like, it comes natural. You see that I don't know, purple will go with gold like nothing else. Like gray will go perfectly with blue and stuff. Yellow with blue. Those connections of colors, you can learn it. You can naturally see it in architectural designs, in interior designs, in cars. Absolutely. Agas, also, she's my wife that works with me. We together create a Stradi workshop. She's also very, very huge enthusiast of cars, and she spotted a color on the car that she made. Like, oh my goodness, we have to do a guitar in this color. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Yes. We're gonna connect it with some beautiful terracotta piece or burnt maple, burnt oak. It will look perfect. Those are details that's constantly mess in my head. Even in the night, I tend to, of course, sleep well, but sometimes I wake up in the night and have an idea that I have to take my phone and write, because in the morning I can just forget about it for somehow. So I need to write it down. Come on, let's connect this with this, or come on, if you carve the body of an instrument thin enough, it will behave as a soundboard. I have to write it down and think what I can do with it. And you play the guitar and that I made in this approach. It was awesome. It was like, come on, this idea just came to my mind in I don't know, in some basic moments.
So you clearly have an ability to abstract and to overlay concepts. You know, to be able to see something else and then envision it in another context and overlay these two ideas. And this is a huge advantage, you know. And then one of the key things is to keep yourself inspired. And so, you know, you said that you make sure you don't work past 1600. That's 4 p.m. because you put limitations in. And so something that I've done recently is I realized... So I was telling one of my clients about an experience that I had recently. There's a library where I am that is a closed library. It's not a public library. And a friend told me about it and said, and my wife, Roberta, loves books. Both of my kids love books. They're all bibliophiles. I use books. They love books. There's a difference, right? So I find the information useful, but I'm not emotionally attached to the feel of the paper. They are, you know? And so when Zach came to visit our son, Roberta arranged for our friend, said, so do you think we can see this library? And she said, oh, sure. She's in there. I thought I was going to some dusty old library that nobody ever goes in, nobody ever sees. That's not what happened at all. The professor from the university met us there, and we entered this building where there are more than 12,000 books that date back to as early as 700 original manuscripts.
Whoa.
And took us into a room where the archcardinals and bishops are voted upon in the Catholic Church in this room, and their robes are there, and there's medals there that each one of them wear during the ceremony that Napoleon gave them. And there's a painting on the wall that might be from Leonardo da Vinci or one of his apprentices. Definitely Leonardo or one of his students. We're not sure. Very casually there on the wall. And then we go into this grand library. And the professor is there, and we talk a little bit, and we find out that they have one of the original copies of Dante's Divine Comedy. There's only 100 copies that exist of the original. And he starts showing us these. He gets out the white gloves and brings out, and we see Dante's signature. Actually, Dante's signature. And we had this amazing experience in this space. And I was telling later that day, I had a meeting with a regular client that I have weekly meetings with, and he said, "Jamie, this is amazing." He says, "You need to keep doing those things, and you need to keep coming back and telling us about it. It's part of your role in our community that you need to have these experiences and share them with people." And at first I kind of thought, well, that's a nice thing to say, but it's casual passing comment. Then I realized, no, it's not actually. Not all of us get to just go out and travel the world. And we should be sharing. We should be sharing that information. And so, long story long, like you have this parameter that you shouldn't work past 4:00. I've now put it into my schedule to say that one day out of this week, every week, that I must fill my soul. I must go to a museum, to a library, go see something beautiful, because actually what I talked about with you, the abstraction and overlaying of concepts, is actually what I bring to people, and I bring them that experience, and it helps them when they're working in their workshops or factories every day of the week, and I bring the outside perspective into their world. But if I don't, sometimes I get caught up in my work just like you do, and I'm at my computer all day long, in meetings all day long, and I need to remember to refill the cup, refill the soul with those experiences and interesting moments. And so, do you have, as a part of your process, time to go and experience things, or is it just happening naturally in your daily life? And do you ever get to the point where you feel a little empty and that you have to go refill?
I wish I had. I wish I had a time now. My huge problem is it's organizational work. I do work a lot, I strongly feel I can do more when I would put myself in some of schematics, for example. And my poor organization of work makes me constantly think I'm on the backward schedule. I don't have time. So it's changed. It's getting better. Of course, I'm developing this schematics and try to organize, make a list what should be done today or within the next 2 days. That helps, of course. And I'm really can't wait to have time for this. To have time for more time for kids, for example. I know this is the time when I should really put a lot of time, a lot of interestation in them. Spend a lot of time with those people. This is the exact time when I should do it. So when I have some free time, I really try to spend it with them. And my inspirations comes really naturally with really sometimes basic things I do see in my everyday life. I told you I got a lot of passions. For me, it's rather starving for a time that I will have a free mind, like empty mind. Like I do have a lot of things on my head that really needs to be done, because when the shop is small, me and Naga, there's a lot of things on my head, like not only building instruments, like getting supplies of hardware, of materials, of woods, of stickers or everything, managing invoices, all the office stuff, contact with customers. That sometimes I do have on my back head that I should really reply on the email that I got 3 days ago, and that makes me a person that really strives for a piece of free mind. And in the summertime, I do have my motorcycle. I can do a ride when I don't have to think about anything, just the roads. And I do have such a thing, as you said, but mostly because we live on the countryside and going, I don't know, to the museum or somewhere, you have to take a long trip. You have to spend a day, at least a day, on the road somewhere. So for me, such another passion and another opportunity to get something on my mind is sometimes reading a book or watching an interesting movie. I love knowing new history, new stories of people, new perspective of thinking, different people. So I really like a good movies, with depth, with something that you can think about, like what this guy can think. I was never on these situations. It's very, very strange what I would do in this situation. I think that gives me the thing you mentioned, something that feeds my head with something. I don't need emotions. That I do have a lot of emotions here in my work.
No, I mean, I think it's great. I think
but
that's the reason I think that podcasts are so popular these days. I mean, you're on a podcast right now, but I think that people need that input. And so, you don't have to go away to a museum or something. Sometimes I listen to, there's a great podcast out of the UK called Diary of a CEO. It's the most popular podcast in the UK. It's not about CEOs at all, just like this podcast isn't about guitars, but, it's about life, and guitars are connected to our life, but it's not about guitars. And his isn't about CEOs. There's another one called People I Mostly Admire, which is part of the Freakonomic series. And that's really interesting also. And so, sometimes I can't go also, and I have to, but then sometimes at lunchtime, I used to put on like TED.com, ideas worth sharing. And I would they have a button that says inspire me. And so you can press the button and it chooses the video for you. Because now there must be 100,000 TED Talks now or more. Years ago when I first started, there wasn't so many, but now there's no way anyone's watched all of them. And so you can hit an inspire me button, and then you can feel that sort of. I think it's important, and it's good for you if you don't feel empty. If you just have a life that fills you all the time. Sometimes I feel a little empty, and I need to do something about it.
Absolutely. Okay, that's we're so much different, like from people to people. To be honest, I love that. I'm telling my kids, I'm telling everyone that I know, like, dude, I love that you're different, that you have different opinion or something, because of that, the world is beautiful. The world is colorful. And I love it. Come on, we can inspire each other. If you all think the same style, have the same point of views, it will be absolutely boring. We all have differences. We all have different approach to things. Yesterday I was telling my daughters about such anecdotes, like not an anecdote, but some story that opens the mind to. You see that someone falls from stairs, and you have 5 people, and every single person thinks absolutely different things. One will be laughing because it's funny for him. One will think that maybe this person needs help. Second, third one will think, "What a loser! Come on." Fourth person will think, "Oh, I feel sorry for this person. I had the same stuff yesterday. I fell from stairs." Fifth person will think, I don't know, maybe she has something precious in the purse or pocket that's broke. We're all different. We are all have different perspective on same same situations.
Yes.
And I love it. I think it's beautiful. That's why I love to meet people. People inspires me. You inspires me. Roberta inspires me. I love talking to you about anything that every time that we met, we have something to discuss about. And this particularly not guitars.
Yeah,
mostly.
That's right. Yeah.
Are you serious about the business of guitar? Then you need to join us on Patreon. We're building a future where guitar makers are able to live prosperous lives making instruments that inspire the musical experience, which helps to create a more beautiful world, where others who are passionate about the guitar can thrive. Those who help in the promotion and resale, trade shows, writing of books and articles are supported as a valuable part of the community. A community where we explore with curiosity and encourage those around us in their endeavors. With a community effort, we can accomplish far more than we can individually. So let's be serious about your guitar business and join us on Patreon at patreon.com/business of guitar. That's patreon.com/business of guitar.
There's some really great examples of your different thinking, and I hope it's not too much to share some personal stories. But I want to talk about the spider that lives in your kitchen. Can we talk about the spider that lives in your kitchen?
Yes, of course, man.
Because this is,
of course,
this is fantastic. Can you tell our viewers and listeners why there's a tarantula that lives in your kitchen?
Of course. Lived, unfortunately. We made a funeral a few weeks ago. For her, but. I've seen that Aga has a huge arachnophobia, a huge one. Seriously, we went for a walk to the forest, and really tiny spider jumped on my back. She started to scream and hit my back to get rid of it. What the hell? It's tiny little spider, like climbed up the water spout. And I thought, let's do an experiment. I bought a really tiny tarantula, really tiny. She maybe like, I don't know, when I shoot the camera, it was like this little spider. And I told Aga, this is your pet now. This is another pet. We had dogs and cats. She fed them and pet them. This is your pet now. Take care of him. Feed this little creature. Take care of the space for living, like the terrarium. And she was like, "What? Never." But she thought about it and said, "Come on, I'm not afraid of this little spider.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it." And the spider, of course, grew. It grew up like, I don't know, this huge tarantula.
Yeah.
And Aga had many times had this spider on her hands, on her shoulder. She had to change the terrarium for a bigger one because spider was getting bigger and bigger. And now she's not afraid of spiders. Like, she don't like them. Of course, like some nasty looking spider come up. She don't like it, but she's not afraid anymore. It's absolutely phenomenal. Like, people can change their approach. I was absolutely sure she's not curable.
That was a ballsy move, Marek.
She made it.
I mean, most guys, if they had a wife who was terrified of spiders, would think if they brought a spider home, she's leaving the house. She's never coming again, and our marriage is over. and you,
of course,
you had the wherewithal to say, hey, I presume there's a certain amount of, I'm your partner, you're safe with me, I'm your husband, I'm not trying to hurt you, all of that, but you worked through it. And the thing that I love about this story is that we have these huge issues these days with anxiety within Western culture. And anxiety is simply not knowing. It's not knowing what will happen. And so the part of the brain that regulates anxiety also regulates the opposite side, is curiosity and exploration. It's the same part of the brain that's curious and explores as is anxiety. Fantastic. And when you can match anxiety with a curiosity and say, because it's very normal in English, you probably have the same phrase in Polish to say, what's the worst that could happen? Right? We say, come on, what's going to happen if you do this, right? If you go there, if you tell the person you like them because you're romantically interested in them, what's the worst that can happen, right? And in this scenario, that's what you did. You said, let's get you used to spiders. What's the worst that can happen? And what happened is she gained the experience to know that she'll be okay. You gain, but you did it through exploring and through being curious. And I think it's a lesson that we just need to keep teaching these days, is that with anxiety, a lot of people are trying to keep them safe, and they say, let's never expose them to spiders again. Say, no, that's the wrong approach. The exact opposite. You need to let them know they're okay when they experience the spider. And you did a wonderful job with that. And there's well, you can respond to that, but there's one more personal story of yours that I want you to tell, if it's okay. But do you have something else to say about that anxiety and of the spider? And she's happy. You're still married. You still live in the same house. She doesn't hate you because of this. So
absolutely, absolutely. No, I'm very happy that we got really good relation. This relation is, of course, based on good communication, because I strongly believe that if there's a good communication between any people, the relation is very good. If you have something in your mind, if you have something, just tell it. Say it. Speak to each other. Don't expect to other people to I don't know, predict your thoughts. Come on, it doesn't work. Communicate it. You'll be much more happy. And come on, wars happened because of lack of communication. People died a lot because of lack of communication.
This is the key
better communication
to all relationships. Is a marriage doesn't fall apart because of what you say. It falls apart because of what you don't say.
Because don't say.
Every time.
Exactly. So even before, when I bought a spider, I told her, I will buy a spider for you, a really tiny, furry, and nice. You'll take care of him. Let's try it. Don't put it away. Let's do this. Just trust me. Just trust me. And it's very interesting about what you said about anxiety and curiosity
and exploration.
Exploration, I do have a lot of friends, luthiers, and being a part of, for example, a luthiers club on Facebook. There's a group of luthiers with huge community of luthiers. And you know what's the most common question asked there? Can I use something X to build a neck, to build a fingerboard, to build the body of a guitar? I try to not ask this question. I try to just use it, and let's see what can happen. Because a lot of people just give you an answer, no, you can do this, too soft, it's too heavy. Okay, yeah, I get it. That's the thinking. Okay, but here comes anxiety. Be afraid of users, because you end up with heavy guitar, will end up with something too soft, too heavy, too hard, too something, too bright. Use it. All you can have to lose is some time, some material. You can end up with really interesting, different, and maybe something unique. Try it. Don't be afraid of it. I try to work like that. I tried to change the anxiety of using some materials of something, or building guitar like that or that, to curiosity. Come on, what will happen when we use it? What we came up with something like that? I told a lot of people when they ask, "What are you doing?" I'm a luthier. People that really don't know what that does mean sometimes ask, "What does it mean? So what are you doing?" I don't ask simply, I build guitars. I give them reply. I solve problems that most people don't know that exist, including other luthiers. Other luthiers that just go buy a hardware, screw it to the piece of board that it's cut in the maybe different shape, maybe the same as Fender Stratocaster, wherever.
Yes.
I really try to solve problems. I'm aware that I create those problems. I create those problems first, then I solve them. Because I really don't have to, but I want to. I'm curious. I'm curious as hell. What we gonna have when we build something like that? And I try to move it into my life as well. All my neighbors, for example, drive really popular cars just because they are sure they will find a mechanic that will fix the car when it's broken. Yeah. This is the thing that they know. Taking back in my head the cars we get with AGA, it was nothing normal, nothing standard, nothing of course fancy, because we don't have a lot of cash for it. But every time we choose a car, it's something probably that you won't see in the radius of the 200 kilometers. That changed. But I try to use it in my life as well. Not only in building guitars, but let's find out what will happen when you get this little spider in our house. And it came out something fantastic. My kids are not afraid of spiders as well, because they were afraid of spiders as well. But it happened the same as with AGA. We showed them, come on, it will, when the huge spider will bite you, you will feel a pain, like wasp would bite you. And that's it. that's the worst.
Which nobody likes being stung by a wasp, but you're not going to die. You'll be okay.
Yes. Of course, you'll be okay. It will hurt for half an hour, and we'll be okay. Yeah. Let's check on the spider never bite us, of course, but we had to check it. We had to build this curiosity and find out what's going to happen. I love this approach. I'm happy that it stayed with us. That my kids learned this approach as well. They are afraid. They feel anxiety. Of course, in life, you can't live without it.
You shouldn't live without it.
When you don't
have that, we call that psychopath. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good thing.
You should have some anxiety, but you should be in control of it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, I tell my kids, come on, it's normal. It's normal. Everyone feels anxiety.
Yeah.
The other thing is what you're gonna do with it. If you're gonna stay with this anxiety, or are you gonna face your fear? Maybe. If you have strength, maybe not today. Maybe when you feel more powerful to do it. Try it.
Yeah.
Try it. What can happen?
Yeah.
As we say in Polish, co może się stać.
Yeah. So that's. I had a conversation with a young man recently who was expressing some anxiety that is crippling for him. He can't move through it. And he was saying that his parents didn't understand. Yeah. He's not very young. He's 20, 25, 26 years old. And he said that his parents couldn't understand. Would just tell him that you'll be okay. And I said, they understand. He's like, no, they don't understand. I said, no, they understand. He said,
I don't understand.
He said, what? Yeah. The thing that you don't yet understand is that what they're telling you when they say you'll be okay is sometimes the fear doesn't go away and you have to do it afraid.
Yeah.
You can't wait until you're not afraid every time. Sometimes the fear doesn't go away and you have to do it while you're afraid. And then you'll realize, that, actually I'm okay. And so your parents may not be expressing it in so many words, but they're saying in the long run, you're fine. And sometimes we just have to do it afraid. Stand up. Yes, I know you're afraid. Take the next step. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, kids will understand such a things really, really much later. I still remember when I was a kid what I was struggling with and how my parents reacted for it. What was their words? Now, from the perspective, I know what they meant. Now,
yes.
But then
not.
Then no. That's the youth. That's the teenager age stuff, and you can't cross it like without repeating all the same stuff across the world.
Yeah.
You raised two wonderful kids. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. So all right, Mark. I want one more. Hopefully, it's okay to say personal story out of you.
Yeah, sure.
We spend as part of my life, I spend a lot of time in people's our customers, our colleagues' homes, and we hear personal stories, and so I have to be conscious sometimes when I'm on camera not to say things that I shouldn't say. But I think this is okay because I really love this story, and where I've been thinking about you and Aga lately because we live on a route of a pilgrimage, and we live just across the street basically from a little church which has a sign outside that talks about all the churches of the St. Francis San Francesco. Actually the very first painting known of San Francesco or St. Francis, as he's said in English, or is actually down the street from us. It's from the 12th. It's from the 11th century, and it's just there in a church. No ropes, no glass. It's just there on display. It's wonderful. So, anyways, but when I think about pilgrimages now, I think about you guys because you have such a wonderful origin story that involves a pilgrimage.
Do you mind telling this story? Maybe I can set it up a little bit.
No problem.
So Aga's parents weren't so convinced about you.
About me.
And you weren't allowed to really spend time together. And so you found a very creative way to spend time together. And what did you do?
Yeah, we decided to go for the pilgrimage. We've been a pilgrim that goes to the Saint Mountain, Jasna Góra. It's in Częstochowa.
And how far is Częstochowa from where you are?
It's like over 200 kilometers. It was like almost 2 weeks walking. 2 weeks walking each day for 20, 30 kilometers. And it was wonderful time that we can spend together. I got arthritis. My knees, last day my knees just went absolutely down. I didn't make to go all the way. I gave up 20 kilometers, maybe even less, before destiny. But it was absolutely great time because we finally could be just together, talking all the time, all the road. Aga's sister was with us. We spent a lot of great time together. Yeah, come on. When parents of your love doesn't accept you, it's like, come on, how can we met together? I can't go to her. I was like, I was 18, 19 years old. I didn't have a car. I couldn't go to her because she lived 40 kilometers away. So this was the only idea that came up, that we can go for the pilgrims, and finally spend some time together. We were separated for really few years. I was studying in different city for a year, but we made it. We made through it, and we got married very young, right after the college, because we absolutely were sure that we are for each other the people that we want to get older together.
Amazing. So you walked for 2 weeks,
absolutely.
Walking every day with a pack, from what I remember, right? Or you had
absolutely,
you had to carry your things with you, the tent and everything, and
of course the tent, the powder, the everything. We have to have with us.
Yeah.
It was of course a spiritual experience was also strong. We were believers in that time, so it was not only the things. Our path with the church just splits after really sad stories I won't tell about because it's not the place to talk about it. But it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome to finally get together and be close, just hold by hand, and it was everything we dreamed about at this time.
Amazing.
And I'm happy that Aga works with me. It was not obvious. It was not from the beginning. Yes. She has his own career. She was a manager. In a fancy clothing company, and I was just before my first show. It was Holy Grail Guitar Show. This is the show when I met you for the first time, probably. And I was like, Aga, please help me. I will show you how to do it, and please help me because I can't make it on time. And she said yes. She got stainless steel work to do. She didn't knew that it's hard to do. She was just trying to make me satisfied, happy, because she loved me, because she wanted to do something good for me, and she did phenomenal job. Like for the what's going on, babe? You won't go back to work. You will stay with me in the shop, and we will build those instruments together. are you okay with that?
Yes.
And she was at the time when she was just hates the work because of the people, the climate, and the all the stuff that's in corporation. And she didn't even think 5 minutes. She said, "Of course, of course, it will be fulfilling the dreams that she had.
Amazing.
That she can be in home, that she can be with me, that we can be all together all the time."
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of marriages that just can't stay in the one room for too much time.
They didn't have the conversations,
together.
Marek, as we talked about earlier on. It's the things they didn't say, not the things they said. And so I love spending time with you and Aga. And, when you were visited here, Mike and Helen Sankey were here also. And, these are examples of people who live and work together, and myself and Roberta. And it's great to be around other couples who are, madly in love with each other. And it's a wonderful thing. So I don't know how people do it without Roberta's my superpower. And so I don't know how I could do life without her, and I think you have the same thing, and so it's really wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, Mark.
Absolutely. The quality of builds that we have would not be the same without Aga. Absolutely.
Yeah. He has a fierce eye. Yes.
Yeah. She's the quality manager.
Yeah. Wonderful. Honestly, Roberta's the same thing with a lot of what we do. I'm very much about details, but if it comes to like handwork and finish work and such, I get it 98% of the way, but she's the one who really dials in the last little bit of it. So, well, Mark, thank you so much. It's a wonderful story to finish on. I think thank you for being on Life with Strings Attached, for taking your time out of your day to spend time with us here. You're doing wonderful work. You're making inspiring instruments, and I'm so pleased you're doing what you're doing. We're going to wrap up this section of the show, but we're going to move on to the business of guitar, which we do over on Patreon. Sure. For those of you who want to talk about the business of guitar, we do that behind a paywall on Patreon, because we talk about some stuff that, is inside business and that not everyone needs to hear necessarily. Sure. And so if you're interested in the business guitar, head over to patreon.com/business of guitar. That's patreon.com/business of guitar. And Mark and I will talk a little bit about the behind the scenes of how we make the reality of playing with guitars all day. So thanks, Mark, again for being on Life with Strings Attached.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll say goodbye. Thank you for watching and listening. You can find more episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts. And a special thanks to those who support us on Patreon. It's your support that enables us to do this work.